It's time for the world to know of our presence. No more disguises, no mercy. The time has come for my master's arrival. Decepticons, mobilize. It is time. Decepticons, mobilize. It is time.
Hi guys, Jake from Full Access UTV, and today we release the Decepticon, the KRAKEN. Today we are super excited to announce the release of the KRAKEN buggy, and as you will see, it is a Decepticon. And you might say, well, what's a Decepticon? Well, it's an Autobot, it's a Transformer, and that is the difference between this build and any other build. This is our Transformer, our Decepticon. It is from a full-size rock buggy machine to a UTV, and we are super excited to finally be able to talk about it, show it, and debut it. Keep in mind, guys, I have been trying to work on this since April 24th. Actually, this thing was done on the table, the chassis was ready to go, and to tie it together. Summer happened, Full Access UTV happened, everything has happened, and it's just kept me off, and it is horrible. But for the last 30 days, I've been able to go solid and hard. My wife has taken that side of the business and kind of pulled it under her arm so I could walk away, and it has been awesome. So huge thanks to my wife, Angela. Most of you talk to her and deal with her a lot for customer service and everything else. She's awesome. So today is about this car, and you still not get to see it yet. Because if it has a name like a Transformer, then you want to know what it came from. So I'm going to show you some pictures. And this is our competition rock crawling chassis. We've been making these chassis for years. They're We Rock winners, Grand National Championship winners, Super Crawl winners, World Championship winner. This is a badass buggy, and I love driving the thing. It was the most capable thing. Had a little Honda V6, Turbo 350, portal axles. It was awesome. And it had a 106-inch wheelbase and weighed in at just under 3,000 pounds. So I'll show you this quick video of the capabilities of that car, and then you can think about it yourself about how it will work in a UTV. Personally, I like this clip. It shows the vert, shows the seriousness in the side hill and what this car could do. So obviously you saw me do a rear burn, then a front burn. That is something I'm gonna miss in the UTV. Now I can do some rear burns, but it's not gonna be like this. And obviously looking at this, I don't know if any of you ever seen competitions, but on the other side I got another guy running the course. Everybody in the orange and the yellow is judges and media. And they're just making sure we don't hit cones, we're 10 points, reverses were 1 point, blah, blah, blah. But this side hill on top of this major cliff edge is pretty gnarly. We had a few competitors roll off the edge and everything else that day, and even some just flying down on throttle trying to save the car. I'm still sucking a seat up my butt watching it. We call this the 2-2 shuffle. Little wiggle in the car to get it to set where you want. All suspension can start to stabilize. You can feel the balance point of the car when you do something like that. A little more of the shuffle. And you can see the flex of that car and the stability of it. Little 3-wheel, and that was it. It was up. So as you can see, it's pretty capable. I don't know if that's boring. I don't know if that's irrelevant. But to me it is, because it's a transformer. So, hey, we're taking that car and we're doing it with the KRX 1000. And we're putting the two together to do what was originally intended as the King of the Hammers race car build. Well, from the time in April and June when I posted that video, things have changed. Marketing partnerships have changed, sponsorships have changed, lots of things have gone in different directions, but at the end of the day, we're not gonna have that car that I wanted. In my opinion, and I'm not gonna put my name and my reputation online, I'm not going to go out there again and try to win King of the Hammers in something that is not capable enough. And the KRX 1000 is just not fast enough. The top speed is not there. In the rocks, it's going to kill it. But that's it. The final decision was, hey, the fast parts are not going to be here in time for King of the Hammers. So that decision was made to do something else with the KRX. And that in itself was a month or two's worth of discussions until, hey, this is my idea. I'm the one that has to back all of these ideas. I'm the one that has to build it, and I'm the one that has to pull the money out for it, besides my amazing sponsors that have jumped on. I have to believe in this project, and we're turning it into a rock buggy / race car. So the KOH plans are still in order, and we're going to race KOH in 2023. We're even going to try to do some Vora races this year. But what we're going to do is build this car to the rules, which it is right now. Fuel system, tach cages, the gussets, everything is built to the rules. But we're going to use the car for demo reasons this year and display and everything else. We're going to go out and we're going to do the UTV takeover events, and hope to see you guys at Coos Bay, Sand Hollow. We're also going to go to Rally in the Rocks. We're going to go to Rally in the Pines. We're going to be at UTV Conquest on the Rubicon. We're even going to head to the East Coast and spend a couple weeks out there wheeling with the guys from Superatv and doing some awesome stuff. But we're trying to do something a little different. So how is it different? Well, it's a rock buggy UTV. So the first thing you need is big ass tires. This is the KRAKEN buggy, and these are some big ass tires. These are 39-inch MRT X-Rock DDs. These are their super sticky tires with Kevlar sidewalls. We are super glad to be running these guys and sponsoring up with MRT and doing marketing partnership. I ran these on my Wildcat XX, and these are an awesome tire. Let me close this. This is the boxer dropper, in case you didn't watch the other video. Slam latches. It's a rock buggy with UTV type doors. But go ahead and take a look around it. It's a masterpiece if you ask me, but who am I? I'm just a guy building a thing. A lot of parts to still go on it, a lot of work to do. Like I said, I've had about 30 days into this thing, and it's been a pretty phenomenal car. So far, I'm really happy with the build and all the things we'll be getting done. But super stoked on the 39s, but everything about a 39-inch tire says The car's got to be strong. Everything about this car has to be strong. I'm actually looking forward to going out with my buddies who have the Wraith 2 chassis buggies and running with them. My old car was a 106-inch wheelbase. The new ones are all 108 that I've been building. This is 107.5. It is right there. So I don't know if I can keep up in certain things, and certain things I'll probably be getting the winch hooked up. But hey, I'm cool with that. I'm looking forward to that challenge, that just full challenge of trying to even be able to do it. Those guys got rear steer and everything else. I don't have that. They got dig. I don't have that. But man, there's certain things that I think I'm just going to kill them on, and I'm looking forward to just finding out what all the differences are. So we're going to beat the crap out of this thing. And we got to have big, heavy-duty parts. So with that said, we brought on some massive sponsors who have come on and help us out. There's a lot of products behind me and on the shelves and things, and I'm going to kind of show that stuff to you. But most of it's not on the car yet. We've been waiting for parts. It's been one of those big things, but talking about the chassis and versus the KRX. KRX is super strong. Been super impressed. You all know from me showing you parts and talking about how it enlightened me. It's true. Lightened me enough to pull out my wallet and start building this thing. This thing is awesome. We're going to test what the KRX parts can take. And we already know there's some weak links out there. We're upgrading them. We're buying other companies' upgrades. We're doing other upgrades from marketing partners. We are going to do all of those things, and we're going to find it out. And we're going to fix them. So this thing is just better for the KRX community anyways. But as far as the chassis, you'll see down here, we got the both sides. Kind of cover this in the other video. These things are the difference between where that link mounts and the area of where you were hitting formerly in the KRX. It's like 14 inches. So it's 14 inches narrower. I could slide through and not hit anything and not really have to touch the rocks too much. And when I do, this will all be covered and everything, and it'll all turn out nice. But another thing you'll really notice too is look at the height. This thing is obviously sitting at full bump, but look at the height right here. If you take a look at it when we're standing at the shop KRX, this is on 35s, and this is at ride height. And keep in mind, this is like a 5-inch chop cage. So factory is like here on 35s. When this thing's up and sitting at ride height, there's no doubt in my mind, I bet you that roof is going to sit about here. So center of gravity in this car is going to be night and day. We moved the seats down. We've taken everything down. We've changed the ballast of the car. Like I said, we changed the wheelbase of the car. And even on that side, we're putting the battery up forward. We're putting the fuel cell up forward. So we actually have I just finished the mock-up on that. That's what I'll be hopefully working on tomorrow. Maybe Ange could show. But that's the fuel cell. So that should be about 18-gallon fuel cell, which will be nice. And it's right up front, so it keeps that ballast. So the thing will bite on climbs and hills. And just overall, you know, we're going for that 50-50 weight balance. So it should be a really good, good difference. You notice a lot of stuff on the interior. I did the Corbeau seats. I think these were the Baja XP or something like that. I ran these in my Wildcat, and they were the most comfiest seat I ever rode in. I felt so stable and controlled, I decided to put them in here. And as you can see in the video, there is no room in here. It is so tight on both sides, they barely fit, but we got them to work out, so it turned out awesome. But yeah, she's a beast. This thing's gonna be awesome. We should mention that this is the first part of a series. We're actually going to start a series right now that's just in this car trying to get it done. We're going to try to get it done for King of the Hammers, but not to race King of the Hammers. We're just going to try to get it done and be there, get it out in the media and start, you know, messing around with things, start hitting the trails and things and get it done. I mean, but at the end of the day, I don't get it done, it's not going to kill me. I'm not going to cut corners. So I'm going to do this thing right and try to make it all nice. So maybe I'll take that camera for a minute and show some of the points. So one of the things too is we got right now we got the Superatv 1.5-inch forward arms on this thing. These are just mock-up set, but we also got hidden back in there is full hydraulic steering. That's a full 2.5-inch hydraulic steering ram that we got to put a power steering pump onto the motor to get working, but it's totally awesome how this is all going to work out. Me and Ross have been going back a lot from Natural State Racecraft, and he's a buddy of mine. He makes these things for Can-Ams and Polaris's. No one's ever done a KRX, so I'm the first one to do it, but it's still not going to fit in a KRX, but I think he's going to be working on a kit. Interior, I've spent a lot of time in, literally, doing all the cool little mods. If you notice, I got my switch panel all lined out, all the switches and everything, the dyno jet. I also got the factory KRX gauges mounted in the dash. With our tablet will play all our music and we have all our maps. And even on the passenger side, I got the grab handle with the removable pin, so it can still go in and out. And later on, we'll be mounting the GPS and the race radio and everything else on that. Also even included and figured out a way to mount the tilt steering wheel. So I took that out of the KRX and used that too. So it turned out pretty good. As you guys can see too, I got a lot of work to go, but it's coming together. One of the things to show you back here, sway bar. I have our new ends, but I don't have the sway bar hooked up because I ended up moving it back about 4 inches, and now I'm going to take it back forward about 2. But one of the things I did is I also did a double shear mount, and I made these double shear to make them a lot stronger, because a lot of times it just twists these or it crushes the misalignments and stuff. But I did double shear. But anyways, I picked up the phone, I talked to Alan at Halo. They make an awesome electronic disconnecting sway bar. So amongst conversations, they're going to come out with the KRX 1000 electronic rear disconnecting sway bar, which is really cool. So this thing will actually disconnect with an electric motor in the middle. So anytime you can hit that switch and turn it off or turn it on. And that's going to be phenomenal for us for racing. I mean, it's just going to make it night and day better. Be able to push a lot more speeds out there in the desert, you know, and not have to worry about the car being super loose. Shocks wise, you can see I got the Foxes on here for now. Kaiten came over and said, man, that thing is laid over. And I'm like, dude, this is completely stock KRX 1000 geometry. From the width, left to right, to the layover position right now at full bump. That is stock. I'm sure you saw in the front, I don't have any shocks. Still waiting on Walker Ovens, just saying. But I cannot run the stock Foxes because of the way I did the shock mount and the bracing. I want to run my reservoirs off to the side, so I didn't have to look through them over the hood and kill my visibility. So that was one of the things I worked on there. But like I said, this is the first in the series. So every week we're going to come out and try to show you an update of what I've done during the week. Hopefully it was productive and it's worth watching, but we'll see. Hopefully you guys are getting a good idea. I'm not even sure what to talk about. There's so much stuff on this thing. You see the motor fit in there perfectly. In the back I actually cut off the rear frame. If you're familiar with your KRX. You can see the original frame there where I cut it off and put a tube in. And then all the mounts down underneath. I don't know if I can get in there. You can see a lot of little bracing and stuff. So a lot of these little mounts are starting to bend and stuff, and the guys racing these in desert racing and everything. So I did some gussets and braces on all those. So I guess if that's something you guys need, you can call me. I already got them ready to go, cut off, but I ended up tying it directly back into the original bar of the chassis, which worked out phenomenal, and then gave me my room for my spare tire. So we wanted to run a spare tire off the back because in racing, you got to have a front and rear bumper. Well, mine is a rear tire. So if you bump this car, you get a little speed push and it makes it nice. But even then, I don't know if you can see it down in there. You see that little KRX thing? That is my cooler mount. It's hidden in there. My cooler fits in there perfect. So if we go to places like Sand Hollow or some nasty verts, I don't want the spare tire back there, so we'll just take it off and, you know, and put the cooler in. But I think the way that everything's going to work out back here, we're going to have a rear radiator. We should have an intercooler. Then we have an oil cooler coming in and a supercharger oil cooler. And I want to make a nice little ducting, like a ram air scoop that feeds it through the cab and cools everything out. So it should cool down the exhaust more, it should cool a lot of everything. So it should be pretty neat. And as I do the weekly updates, I'll try to just try to talk more about what I've already done. Like I said, I've done 200 things to this car. It's so hard to remember, but there is quite a bit of work done to this thing. Still one of my favorite parts. I guess that's another thing to mention. Before the Decepticon conversation came up, I had already built the hood. I don't know if that's glaring or not. And as you can see, Wyatt pointed out, he's like, that's like the Decepticon. And I'm like, oh my God, I think he's right. So it was kind of funny, but all right, so I'm gonna hand this back over to Ange, and then I'm gonna cut back in. Okay, so microphone quit, guys, or the camera quit right when we were trying to switch over. This has been a long delay trying to get this back. We've had issues with video production for a month. We tried to schedule originally to do this. There's a long story, I'm gonna tell it to you. Over a month ago, we were supposed to do this on the 22nd of November. Certain marketing partners and sponsor stuff wasn't here. We pushed it back to the 29th, scheduled again for the 29th, then it's scheduled again for the 12th. Now at time, they're making Christmas commercials and they're too busy. We're doing it ourselves, and that's cool. But we are obviously having issues. So regardless, hey, thanks for listening to me blah, blah, blah about that. And we're gonna go to the table of parts that we're gonna put in this car. As you see on the table, all the parts we're gonna use. They're awesome. That's what it comes down to. This is the good stuff, and we want to use it. And if you notice, a ton of it is from Superatv. I actually called Superatv up. We discussed this project and everything else. They wanted to come on board as a marketing partner with this, and I couldn't say thank you enough. The truth is, this stuff's awesome. I was going to buy it anyways, but hey, man, you can't say enough about all this stuff. They are a phenomenal company. They've been talking to me about, hey, when I put on stuff, see problems, they let us know, we'll change it, this and that. They are really making a huge stand in the UTV market, and man, I'm proud to be on that team. So, yay, thanks, guys. So going to the end, got the Superatv limit straps. We're gonna run the limit straps because we're running a portal. The extra weight of the portals, gears, brakes, everything else puts a lot of stress in your shock when it fully extends out, and it can actually crush your piston or break your shock out. So we're running limit straps. We're running their two-piece front winch plate for the KRX 1000. Real nice piece, good powder coating on that, and lightweight, so that's what we're after. Ball joints. These are their 300M lifetime warranty ball joints. This will be the last ball joint you ever buy, and they are fully adjustable. You could tighten them up, loosen them up, fully greasable, everything else, all cool. You see it kind of in the back, portal blood, that is their gear oil for their portals, and of course the Rhino 2.0 axles. The Rhino axles are absolutely awesome. We run them in our other car too. There's not a lot of breakage in KRX axles. Everybody knows that. They're, I think, the biggest axles out there on the market, but I have personally seen one break. But regardless, we went to the 2.0s because, I mean, it's the best shafts and we didn't want to have a breakage. So one thing to say about Superatv, they have a phenomenal warranty, lifetime warranty on most all of this stuff here. Okay, so those axle shafts are only 1.5 years, but that's 1.5 years you get to beat the crap out of them and see if you can break them. That's huge. I can't believe they stand behind all their stuff like that. And if you're buying stuff, hey, if you buy it from us, you get that lifetime warranty. You should, definitely keep that in mind. Going into the big one, we got the portals. We got 4-inch billet portals. They're 4 inches of extra ground clearance and they're additional 4 inches of width, and we got them with a 15% reduction. The 15% reduction on top of our 15% from our cut sheaves from JBS will give us about 30% lower, and we only needed about 26 with the 39s, so we should be good. One thing you notice too is this is your actual output gear, and this is where your wheel and tire bolts onto the portal box. There's 2 gears in these boxes, and they even have the 4 idlers, or the dual idler, excuse me, that has 2 additional gears in here that transfers out the load. But on the other side, you got your axle shaft. Your axle shaft actually just bolts in right here. One thing to say about these, there's a lot of confusion about portals. I ran portals in my Polaris General. They're awesome. They will show you weak links in your ride for sure, because they put a lot of extra stress and steering and load and the extra width on things. But what it does do is it fixes everything in the drivetrain up. So your axle shafts, your U-joints, your front diff, your transmission, all of it sees about 50% of the torque, the load, the shock, the hits, and the forces from the road and the rocks and the climbing. It doesn't get transferred up in down the line because it's taking it out in the box. So on the other side of the spectrum, the steering's much stiffer. You definitely got to upgrade the steering rack, or like do a Sandcraft stabilizer. You got to do different things to it. We're doing the full hydro, so we don't have to worry about that. But super proud of these things. These things are awesome, man. We used to have the Hummer portals on the rock buggy, and like there's people actually made tools to pick them up off the ground. If you look at these, dude, they're not bad. You know what I mean? So they're heavy, yeah, but man, we're gonna run them and we're gonna beat the crap out of them. Built aluminum rear radius rods for the KRX 1000. Bling, bling, bling. Works of art. Look at those things. Can't even argue with that. We're running them on our shop KRX because the stock ones bend and fail. And these things, we've literally been dragging these through the rocks. I mean, I got gouges and huge marks in mine. I use them, so awesome product. We're also gonna run their front A-arms. They're 1.5 inch forward A-arms for the KRX 1000. You can see we got their ball joints in them, and they're higher clearance than the stock ones. So if you're bending them and whatever, you put these on, lifetime warranty, guys. Lifetime warranty, you can't even argue with that. And that's where we're gonna run. They're super strong. That's what we're running on the shop KRX, so it should be pretty good. Also on the back of the wall, we've got their 1/2 inch Delrin skid for a KRX 1000. 90% of underneath this car is KRX 1000, so we're super stoked to be running that too. That's going to really simplify the install and make it a lot quicker. I'll have to do some cuts and things, but it should be cool. Can never forget Bulldog Winch. I've been sponsored by Bulldog for years. This is their 6,000 pound power sports winch. It comes with a synthetic rope in it. It is I mean, everything he makes is quality. We were running this winch in the front of our rock buggy, and that thing weighed just under 3,000, and then add water in the front tires. Man, this thing pulled us out. This is a little 2,000 pound UTV. We're not gonna have any issues, and I believe in it. When you need a winch, you need the winch, and you need it to work. This is not Amazon or Chinese junk. This stuff is good stuff from him, and I highly recommend him, man. I mean, I've never had a winch failure, and knock on wood of that, but yeah, good stuff. So Bob's also sent us some of the other stuff they do. It's got a tire plug kit, and they are awesome bags. They got like tool bags and stuff. So we run one of these in our trail car, and it holds miscellaneous tools and things. And for the King of the Hammers race, this will hold all our tools and a lot of other equipment. But I think that about covers it for this table. So I'm gonna bring you over to the other table. All right, so last table of this probably extendedly long, boring video, but we're gonna run, of course, some of our products. This is the heavy-duty rear skid plate for the KRX 1000. This is a must-have on a KRX 1000. We're even selling these to dealerships everywhere. I'm using it on my build because there's no point in me fabricating anything down there. This thing's already done, bolts on. Matter of fact, I already drilled the holes for it. We're gonna run our front A-arm support kit. This is an upper kit, this is a lower kit. And I'm gonna run these because I'm trying to tie in the left to right. Even though I did weld washers, I tagged our weld washers onto the car on every single radius point on the car, but still, regardless, I'm gonna run these just as well. The other thing you're gonna notice here too is one of the big things we're gonna change is the brakes. If you notice, this is a rear KRX 1000 rear brake pad. This is a front brake pad, and this is the brake pad from a Polaris Turbo S 4-seater. And the 4-seater, as you can see, has at least 50% more surface area, which is 50% better braking. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna run these front calipers, and on the calipers in the last couple of years of the Turbo S 4-seat, they went to a triple piston. So this is a triple piston caliper instead of a dual, and that's gonna be a huge improvement also. So we're gonna end up doing that. But another nice part was too, because we're running portals, Superatv already makes all the bracket kits for that car, for the KRX and for that. So we're gonna run these and they bolt straight on. I don't have to make anything. And then this is a KRX 1000 front caliper. So we're gonna actually run these in the rear. So we're gonna have this brake pad in the rear. So it should be a big difference. I think the other thing too is, I mean, if you think about it, I went from that to that in the rear. So that's a big deal. Got a carrier bearing support from the guys at Brute. They're known to break and the bearing's known to wobble out, so I'm gonna change that. This is the stuff from Turner Cycles. This is a heavy duty front input for a KRX 1000. they're known to break, and they're breaking right here. And that's a design fuse by Kawasaki for this thing to shear off and break. But if you're going to push it harder, then you guys are going to need some more strength, and that's it. That's the difference right there. This is their dry shaft kit. These are also known to break. They shear off right in this area on either end. These are their heavy duty custom made parts. They use a 120, which is an 1/8 inch diameter tube for the dry shaft, so you're not breaking that. I guess that's something else to say. These dry shafts are not replaceable from Kawasaki. They don't have a part number, which is really strange. But if you guys need this stuff, we got it for sale on the site and we stock them. So if you need the upgrades, you need a dry shaft, just let us know. Next on the table, JBS Performance. Everybody knows I've talked about James before in these videos. I'm going to be running his cut sheaves and his adjustable clutch weights. I believe in him, believe in his stuff, and that'll give us a 15% reduction. We're also going to get 15% out of the portals. So that's 30%. We only needed 26% for the 39-inch tires, and so that should be a little bit better gearing than it in stock with 31. So looking forward to that. Next down line, Noco lithium-ion battery. I decided to run this because of that reason right there, because I am not Superman, I am Santa Claus, and that is super light. It's like 4.6 pounds versus 32 pounds for the stock KRX battery, so we decided to run that. Of course, we're going to be running some more stuff. Ross at Natural, I can never remember the name. I think it's Natural Racecraft is, I don't know, I'm sorry about that, Ross. Anyways, this is a steering servo, and then this is a steering rack. So basically on this end, you're going to run a steering wheel, and then on the other end, a shaft. That shaft is going to go to the rack here. And that is going to manually, you'll have one-to-one connection with the other side. And usually this rack is used for like the sand rail, things like that, but we're going to have a shaft that goes to the hydraulic ram. So I'll have full manual control to the steering wheel via this and full hydraulic power control via this. So it should be a really cool system the way we do it, and it'll end up working out really good. We'll have, basically this will give us one-to-one. I want to elaborate on that for a second. In a rock buggy, you have hydraulic steering. Multiple different vehicles have, like, you know, forklifts, tractors, they have hydraulic steering. They don't go fast. Rock buggies, sometimes when they go fast, and even the Ultra 4 race cars like my Bomber, the steering is never one-to-one. You never feel safe because you have a pressure and then you have a return side of the power steering system. And the pressure side is always more than the return. So when you start, your steering wheel could be straight, and then within minutes, 5 minutes, your steering wheel is like this, and it doesn't matter. You always have to find that center. With this kind of system, center is always center. There is no other change in it, and it's just, it gives you that peace of mind to haul ass, and that's what we plan on doing. And that's why we went through the extra expense of doing all this stuff and talking to Ross about it. So other things on the table, everybody keeps hearing me talk and hearing other people talk about the KRX 1000. They're having fuel issues. It starts with the fuel sock. It goes to the fuel pump, and the rollover valve are causing fuel starvation problems, compounded with a fuel rail that feeds from one side and fuel has to get all the way to the other side to the injector. It's starving that injector, burning up cylinder 2. A lot of people know about it. These are becoming more popular. This is our new central dump billet fuel rail. This thing will be out in the next 30 days. I'm gonna highly recommend it, especially if you're gonna go to more power and things like that. But I mean, even in stock running form, you know, do the fuel sock, do this, and do the rollover valve, and it'll help. In this particular car, I'm not gonna run the stock fuel pump or the sock or anything else because I'm building my own fuel cell. So I'm gonna end up running a Walbro pump. We run these up in 800 horsepower in an Ultra 4 car. No issues, these things are phenomenal. This is what we're gonna end up running, but we're gonna lose the gas gauge, which sucks, but we're gonna do sight tube on the side so we can still see where we're at, and it should work out. I think we got, basically I got a small weight, 30-watt siren. We're gonna use a bunch of our billet quick release fire extinguisher mounts and stuff, and I don't know. I think that's everything on the table, right? I think I've covered everything. I forget anything? Did I forget something? Yeah? Maybe it's that huge box on the table. People have been waiting for the arrival of this. This has been here for just a few days, and I swore I would not open it, and I will not open it. I didn't open it. So, but everyone's been waiting for this Kraftwerks Supercharger for the KRX 1000. There are so many people who know about what I'm talking about. It has been delayed, delayed, and delayed, and it is just, I've been waiting for this thing. It is, let's just do this. So I call him and I say, we're going to video. And he's like, yeah? And I said, well, I can't open the box. I'm still not allowed to open the box because it's still not released 100% to the public. Until it is, I can't open the box. You got to give me something. And he goes, Jay, check your email. This is it. I'm not allowed to show you this. But people have been asking, and today I got your answers, guys. So, first thing to say, this is instant boost. This is a zero lag system. I don't know if a lot of people know the difference between a turbo and a supercharger. Supercharger is belt driven. When that motor revs up, the supercharger revs up. It starts creating more boost. It is instant power. It is not like a turbo that does lag and everything. If you guys watch Street Outlaws and things like that, and all those kind of shows, you know turbos build big power and all that. But these ProChargers, these Superchargers, those guys seem to be killing it more because it's controllable. Everything about it, from the blow-off valve, everything else, man. I'm doing a Supercharger. I've intended to do a Supercharger since day one. We all know there's turbo kits out there that have been out in the market. I've ridden in 2 of them. I've talked to the owners. They lag. They don't have any punch. And I mean worse punch than the stock KRX did, because you're choking it through the turbo and there's no instant boost, the lag, the turbo size. There's so many different things to say. These guys, this is so far behind because they're making it perfect. You can't argue with anybody who's like, oh, I'm not going to just send it to people. You know, they wanted it perfect, so they did it. That's what you guys are going to get. So in the end, they sent me this piece of paper, but I guess what's it matter if nobody knows what kind of power and torque and all that kind of stuff it makes? Well, it's on this piece. Oh, I can't show that to you. 130 rear wheel horsepower. I'm allowed to say it today, and I'm happy to say that. That's 130 rear wheel horsepower in a KRX 1000. Stock is 80. 80. So you have 50 more horsepower to the rear wheels. That is a 60% increase, guys, to the rear wheels. That's massive. It is 90 foot-pounds of torque. It's just going to be awesome. For us, we're going to be running these 39-inch tires, and this is what you want. And if I can make a suggestion, everybody knows from watching my videos and others, the KRX 1000 is badass. The sales record of this year has showed that everybody is switching to that car because it's ultra comfortable inside, it's super smooth, it's this and that, but people have a complaint, and that complaint is it's just underpowered. You guys are right, it is. Do the DynoJet tuner, and you're gonna go, wow, it's night and day. Now, if you're sitting there thinking to yourself, I'm gonna go buy me this new Can-Am, I'm gonna buy this new Polaris because it's turbocharged and I need that power. Number one, 90% of the people don't need that power. 90% of the people don't even understand how to use it, and they overdrive it anyways. But if you're that guy, then go buy yourself a KRX 1000, put on this Kraftwerks Supercharger kit, and go eat them alive with the most stable, strongest car out there, and that is my opinion. There is no other better until this came out, and I'm super glad, oop, I almost showed it, to have this piece of paper and to be able to say that. Now, I still can't open this and stuff, but I have to say this too. I'm not allowed to open it and see what's inside the box. But I thought it was pretty funny that on this picture they sent me was everything in the box. So I was like, are you serious? Hey, look at that, look at that, look at that. So, couple other things to mention about this kit, and then I'm gonna wrap this up. They're making 130 rear wheel horsepower, and that's on stock clutching, okay? No adjustable clutch weights. If you add adjustable clutch weights, you can get more power and put it right back to the power band. It's also running out of air. It needs more air. So you need an upgraded air box. I believe they're working on that just to get more air into that motor. You do the two, you're gonna get a lot more power than it's on this piece of paper, but this is for the stock guy. He's just gonna drop it in and have 130 rear wheel horsepower. You guys, that's huge. So that's another thing. Everything in this kit is listed on here. I'm not going to read it out, but it comes to the map sensor, the supercharger. It's a completely sealed, waterproof box. It's got an air-to-air intercooler in there, fully powder coated. I mean, good stuff. Super stoked to be getting this. You know what I mean? And I think that about covers it. Don't really have much to add, except you guys, this is a series. You know, please click that like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. We're going to throw this out there. We're going to try to bring you updates every week to 2 weeks. And I think that's it. So this should be out before Christmas. So you guys, hey, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Me and my family greatly appreciate you, all you do for us, all the orders we get. And man, I just got choked up. Later.